Imagine two airplanes leaving Los Angeles at the exact same moment. One is heading straight to New York City, the other just 1 degree off course. In the first few miles, you can't see the difference. But by the time they reach the East Coast, the second plane lands in Washington, D.C., hundreds of miles away from its intended destination. That's the power of small changes. Invisible at first, but world-changing over time. This is not just a theory. It's a truth that has shaped some of the most remarkable stories in history. Stories of ordinary people who changed their lives and sometimes the world, not through giant leaps, but through small daily habits. In 2003, the British cycling team was a national embarrassment. For more than 100 years, they hadn't won a single Tour de France. No Olympic gold medals, no world records. In fact, some bicycle companies refused to sell them bikes because they didn't want their brand to be associated with failure. That's how bad it was. Then came Dave Brailsford, a man with a strange philosophy called the aggregation of marginal gains. Instead of searching for one big change to make them champions, he looked for hundreds of tiny improvements, 1% better in everything. He changed the shape of their bike seats for more comfort. He improved the fabric of their racing suits so they were more aerodynamic. He taught them how to wash their hands properly to avoid colds. He even brought in mattresses and pillows for each rider so they could sleep better every night. These weren't miracles. They were micro habits. The results? Within 5 years, the British cycling team won 60% of the gold medals at the 2008 Olympics. They won the Tour de France multiple times in the following decade. What was once a team no one believed in became a symbol of unstoppable excellence, all because of tiny, consistent habits. But small habits don't just create champions in sports, they shape entire lives. Meet James Clear, not the author you might know today, but a young man in high school who nearly lost everything. One day, during baseball practice, a bat swung through the air and struck James in the face. The accident shattered his skull. He was in a coma. He had seizures. His doctors weren't sure he would survive. But James did survive, and when he came out of it, he wasn't the same. His grades dropped. He couldn't play baseball like before. His world felt broken, but instead of giving up, he started focusing on one thing he could control: small daily habits. He cleaned his room every night. He wrote down what he needed to do the next day. He exercised a little. He read a little. At first, it felt meaningless, but slowly those small steps built momentum. His grades improved, his body grew stronger. He became a top student in his college, and eventually, he became a best-selling author, inspiring millions worldwide with his philosophy of small habits. His life is living proof of a simple truth. You don't have to be extraordinary to start, but you have to start to become extraordinary. Even in business and technology, small habits create revolutions. Take the story of Jeff Bezos in the early days of Amazon. In the late 1990s, Amazon wasn't a global empire. It was a small online bookstore. Bezos' team developed one daily habit: focus relentlessly on customer experience. Every day, they made tiny improvements, shaving seconds off website loading time, improving delivery packaging, writing better product descriptions, answering customer emails faster. None of those habits made the news, but together they built the foundation of the world's largest e-commerce company. Or look at Apple. When Steve Jobs returned to the company in 1997, Apple was nearly bankrupt. Jobs didn't invent the iPhone overnight. He focused on simplifying, perfecting, and improving, one tiny design element at a time, removing unnecessary buttons, improving battery life by a few minutes, simplifying the interface pixel by pixel. Those small daily choices built products that changed the world. The real magic of small habits lies in something called compound growth, the same principle that makes money grow in a bank account. If you improve by just 1% each day for a year, you end up 37 times better by the end of the year. But if you decline by 1% each day, you shrink almost to zero. Think about brushing your teeth. One day without brushing doesn't make your teeth fall out, but skipping it every day for months, that's when the damage shows. The same is true for health, wealth, knowledge, or success. Reading 10 pages a day doesn't feel like much. But over a year, that's 3,650 pages, the equivalent of more than a dozen books. Running for 10 minutes every morning won't make you an athlete overnight, but it might save your life over decades. Small habits are silent, but their results are loud. Even the human brain is wired to reward small consistency. Neuroscientists have discovered that when we repeat a small action regularly, our brain strengthens the neural pathways that support that behavior. Over time, it becomes automatic, just like breathing or blinking. That's why habits are more powerful than motivation. Motivation can fade, willpower can break, but habits keep going even when you don't feel like it. One of the most famous experiments in psychology is the Stanford marshmallow test. Children were offered a marshmallow and told they could eat it now or wait 15 minutes and get two. Years later, researchers followed up with these children. Those who developed the habit of waiting, of practicing self-control, had better academic performance, healthier relationships, and greater career success. It wasn't about intelligence, it was about the habit of patience. Now imagine your own life like a plane leaving Los Angeles. You may think a small habit, waking up 10 minutes earlier, reading a few lines of a book, drinking more water, or writing down your goals, doesn't matter. But over weeks, months, and years, those 1-degree shifts can land you in a completely different destination than where you started. The most successful people aren't always the smartest, fastest, or luckiest. They're the ones who choose consistency over intensity. They build habits like laying one brick every day, knowing that one day those bricks will become a wall. So, the real question isn't, can you change your life overnight? The real question is, are you willing to make one small change today? Because small habits are like whispers. At first, no one hears them, but in time, they roar louder than anything else. And that, right there, is the quiet power of small habits.